Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Mark. I'm converting a 2009 Mercedes Sprinter into a camper van for the family. She's bright red, so we've called her Ruby Red. I've no idea what I'm doing. I'm getting everything from YouTube, or I'm trying to. I keep watching people doing fantastic work on YouTube and I'm thinking, geez, look at that, how good is that? Even the basic stuff. And I just keep, like behind you, look, if you look there, I've got bits of silver tape holding insulation boards in because the glue won't stick. It's not my fault, it just won't stick. I didn't make the glue. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. It's free, costs you nothing. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and click the notification bell, and then when I put a new video out you get to see it. I've got 11 videos out now, so if you want to go back and have a look and see what's been going on. Some of them are quite boring. I've noticed that I'm just talking a lot rather than doing. So I'm going to try and up my game on the filming and film what I'm actually doing rather than tell you what I'm going to do, and then the next thing you see is me saying, right, I did that. That's no good. Well, I don't think that's any good. I think I need to film more. So I'm going to try. Not again, new to YouTube, new to van building, new to DIY stuff. 60-year-old, and a clue. But we'll get there eventually, I'm sure. Alright, enjoy. So this is where we left the last video, where I was putting these first bits of battens up to leave me a channel through here to run my wires through, and then panel this off and you won't be able to see it. So as is the way, I looked at how many battens I've got. I looked in the ceiling that these join to, so I counted these up. I thought there's two sides, so I needed 12. So I made 12. There they are, and as I said to you again in the previous video, it took me ages, I couldn't get the angles right. And then when I've looked at it, actually the majority of wires are going to come up from there, going to run along here, so I don't need that angled batten thing down that side, because there's very few wires going to be on that side. So I made 12, probably needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, wasting time doing things I didn't need to do. And just out of interest, that big piece of 50mm insulation board is there because the glue didn't stick. But I'm going to sort that today. I've got some thoughts and some ideas. We'll see what happens as the day progresses. So, as we knew would probably be the case, when we've looked at the insulation at the bottom here, then water has been coming in from the outside. So if you remember in a previous video I talked about these pegs that hold the trim on, and they are known to leak water in, and then the water sits in the sills, and then there's drain holes at the bottom and it drains out eventually. And of course we'd stuffed it with fluffy cloud, and therefore it just sits there and gets wet. So as you can see here, 1 step forward, 4 steps back, because we've now had to take out all the bottom insulation, take out the fluffy cloud stuff at the bottom, and because obviously it's wet through, so I need to seal the outside. We have started to go around the edges now and get this something like, but yeah, so now we're sealing the outside. Okay, so the next bit in doing the insulation on the inside is to get the outside sealed. So I've pulled that one off. There's lots of little hidden Torx bits that I didn't know about, and I'm prizing away. It turns out there's screws on the inside that you've got to dig about and get to them. I've got the first piece off. There's definitely water there, if you can see it. And so all them's got to come out. I'm going to seal them and then put them back onto the trim piece and then attach it back on. That's my plan. Let's see how we get on. So the next bit I'm doing is I'm putting small polythene panels, sealing it around the metal frame there. It's not to create a vapor barrier because I'm not doing these bits. I've got a vapor barrier that's going to go across all that. This is to keep things in place. So I've put another one on there and I'm going to go all the way down. Particularly the big pieces like that, because I keep falling out. I've got bits of tape on, they're not sticking in with the glue, so I'm going to hold them in with polythene. And again, for anybody that wants to criticise, I've no idea what I'm doing. I'll listen to your ideas, but I'm going along as I go along, and this is what I've decided I'm going to do to keep them in place while if I drive the van, everything falls on the floor. So trying to make some progress. Right, although we had a bad start to the day, lots of issues, particularly with Screwfix. Ordering a product, supposed to be there yesterday, weren't there. Went again today, it'll definitely be there by 12, went at 12. Oh, we're very busy. It might be here, it might not. So I just stood there and I said, well, I'm standing here until you find it me, because I've now got a job stood. Making out I were a big professional or something. And I actually said, I've got two lads drinking tea, getting paid. I said, so, you know, I'm going to stand here until you find me piece of polythene. Anyway, I've done the bit of polythene that I was going to do to keep everything in place. And then what I realised is, if you recall on the other video where I put the battens up for to create the what did I call it? A void, to create the void for my wires to go through. I then realised that, well, I'll show you. So where I was going to do, where I was going to do my electrics on that side, and the cables were going to run along the top, down, then the batteries were going to be here somewhere, there were going to be a panel there with all my electrics on. We're getting a water heater that's a gas water heater, and it's a Truma, quite expensive again, 500 quid, and it has to vent through the side of the van, so you have to cut another hole in the van and put your vent through that panel. Now if all my electrics are here, the Truma can't go through that wall, and obviously I want it in my garage, I don't want it in my van bit. So the Truma then was going to have to go on this side, and then I've got an opening window above, so where it's venting gases out and you've got a window there that might be accidentally left open, the gases could come back in. So we toyed with just leaving it and saying, well, you know what, let's make sure the window's always shut every time we've got the water heater on, but I'm not doing that. I've changed my mind. We're not beyond changing things. So as you can see there now in the top, I'm going to put all them battens along there. That's going to be my void that side. My batteries will be here, and my electric panel will be there, and the Truma will go through that wall out there, and then it's venting, and there is no way that the fumes and gases can come back in. Again, maybe overkill on the safety side, but it only needs to go wrong once. We're all asleep in a van and never wake up type of thing. And again, I don't even know if that's the right gases that's coming out, but that's why I'm changing what I'm doing. So the void now, the electrics are going to be on this side, so I'm going to re-putting all these battens on, and then the battens will follow the blue tapes, and then I'll be able to start electrical. I think that's coming on Monday, so it's Saturday today, so another couple of days, and the electrics will be, or most of the electrics will be here. So I'm going to put it on time lapse, and while I put these in, because obviously I'm just drilling all bits of wood into bits of wood. And again, just like last time, there's the void. But I'm going to run all my cables down. Yay! What a guy. Hey? Genius. Genius. You'll all be doing it. You'll all be doing it. So the other thing with converting a panel van is they're just glued together, screwed together in a factory, and none of them are the same. There are no sort of right angles and perfect joints and lines. So all you can do is there's two constants, which is the roof and the floor. So everything needs to be measured. So in other words, I can't put a spirit level on this blue batten to make sure it's level. What I have to do is measure from the floor up, and then at both ends, and then clamp it in, and then it's level with the floor, and that's how best you can do. Alternatively, you can measure from the ceiling just the same, from the roof, providing you measure in the same, you know, pick the same points if you like. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, so that is bang on. Put that there. Put that there, and it's just touching the floor at both ends. So that's the best you can do to ensure that you get it level with the floor, level with the roof. This batten is going to be where my cupboards come out and up. So this will be getting quite a few screws in it to make sure it goes in properly. These will be secured at the same time. That's what I'm going to be doing next. I'm not happy with that one, but anyway, once I put the screws in here, that'll secure that and make that firm. These screws are just holding it in place while I faff about, really. And again, it'll get two screws into this metal. I've made sure the screws are not too long. They're long enough to go through the wood and bite into the metal, but not too long as to come out the other side of the van. Obviously you don't want that. Right, let's see how we get on.